Have you ever noticed how some people just seem to like effortlessly land on amazing opportunities?
Yeah.
Like it's easy to think they've got some secret formula or something.
Yeah.
But more often than not, what they really have is a powerful network.
Right. It's like having access, right?
Yeah.
Smart information gathering and access.
And that's exactly what we're going to be looking at today, how to build what's often called a millionaire network.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that might sound a little bit hypey,
Yeah.
but based on the materials you shared, the underlying principle is about how we can cultivate connections that are not only meaningful, but also like significantly contribute to our professional and personal growth.
Right.
We're really talking about moving beyond the superficial exchange of business cards at a
Yeah.
networking event, right?
Exactly. It's not just collecting contacts, but it's really about the depth of those relationships
Yeah.
and that quality that really opens doors. Porter Gale really hit the nail on the head, I think, when she said, your network is your net worth. Yeah.
Such a good quote. I love that.
It's foundational to success no matter what your field is.
Okay, so let's unpack this a little bit because I think a lot of us would agree that we're probably not tapping into the full potential of our networks.
Yeah.
The resources you provided pointed out some common missteps that we make when it comes to networking.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that we tend to do wrong?
Well, one of the things that was interesting to me is just how frequently networking is approached transactionally.
Yeah.
It's all about what can I get out of this right now instead of how can we create mutual value over time.
Exactly.
So it becomes this kind of collecting contacts thing, but then the follow-up and the genuine nurturing of those relationships is neglected.
Yeah, that's a really good point, right?
Mm.
It's that very, what can this person do for me right now?
Right.
Instead of how can I build a relationship with this person?
Exactly.
That's going to be, mutually beneficial
Yeah.
over the long term.
There's also a lack of clarity or focus around it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people will network broadly, but without a clear idea of who their ideal connections are,
Mm-hmm.
who within that network can really help them achieve their specific goals, and then conversely, where can they offer value back to the other person?
It's like a scattershot approach.
Exactly.
You're just throwing things out there and hoping something sticks.
Yeah,
And I think a key element that gets overlooked is trust.
that's a good point.
It's not just about who knows you,
Yeah.
but who genuinely trusts you and your capabilities, right?
Yeah.
That's got to be the foundation of any kind of lasting and fruitful connection.
Yeah, it's the bedrock of any really robust relationship, especially professionally.
Yeah.
Because without trust, the interactions just remain at the surface level and they're unlikely to lead to those, significant opportunities that we're looking for.
Right. And that kind of brings us to this idea of trust being your most valuable asset in networking.
Yeah.
I love that quote by Zig Ziglar. He said, if people like you, they'll listen to you. If they trust you, they'll do business with you.
That's a good word.
So simple, but incredibly profound.
Yeah.
So how do we build that trust? What are the tangible things that we can do?
I think one of the things that stood out to me is that trust is earned.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something that you build overnight.
Yeah.
It comes from consistent actions and behaviors.
Totally.
And it's about authenticity, right?
Mm-hmm.
People are very good at detecting when someone is not being sincere.
Totally.
So consistently showing up, being reliable, keeping your word. Those small actions done over time build significant trust.
Right.
The other thing is about providing value.
Yeah.
When you regularly offer helpful insights or support or make introductions, and you do it without expecting anything in return right away,
Right.
you build a strong foundation of goodwill and trust with people.
Mm.
I think transparency is key too.
Mm-hmm.
Being upfront about your intentions.
Yeah.
It goes a long way.
One of the materials mentioned a personal story about someone who rebuilt their network
Yeah.
by shifting their focus away from selling
Mm-hmm.
and towards genuinely offering value and guidance to people.
Yeah.
And I thought that was such a great illustration of moving from a me first to a we first mentality.
It
right?
really highlights that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's such a powerful illustration of how prioritizing genuine connection and contribution naturally cultivates these stronger relationships.
Yeah.
It transforms networking from being a task on your to-do list to being a rewarding exchange.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we understand why building trust is essential.
Right.
So how do we actually leverage that trust and those connections for mutual growth?
Yeah.
The sources you shared really emphasize the power of collaboration.
If we zoom out and look at the bigger picture,
Mm-hmm.
truly high-value networks are built on collaboration. Think about strategic alliances or joint projects or partnerships where everyone benefits.
Mm-hmm.
That's often where we see the most significant growth happening.
Right.
You know, there's that great African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Oh, that's such a good one.
It really underscores that, doesn't it?
Totally.
The power of working collaboratively.
I think the real trick, though, is identifying those win-win scenarios.
Yeah, right.
It requires looking beyond your own immediate needs and considering those individuals or organizations where your skills and resources really complement theirs.
Exactly.
And then together you create that synergistic effect.
So it's not just about finding people who can help you,
Right.
but it's also figuring out how you can contribute to their objectives and their success as well.
Yeah. Engaging and contributing value within your network is crucial.
Mm-hmm.
So sharing your expertise, making relevant referrals, offering support.
This all fosters reciprocity and strengthens those bonds.
I love that. The materials also touched on the idea of leveraging community power. Things like mastermind groups.
Yeah.
So how do those fit into this picture of building a collaborative network?
It's the power of collective intelligence and shared accountability. Things like mastermind groups offer that structured environment for collaboration and problem solving and mutual support.
Totally.
Being a part of that type of community can really accelerate your progress and expose you to diverse perspectives and opportunities that you might not encounter on your own.
Right. So it's about expanding your reach and your thinking, right?
Exactly.
Through that collaboration.
Yeah.
This all seems to lead into these two pathways for building a high-level network that were outlined in the materials.
Yeah.
The Millionaire Commitment Path
Right.
and the Legacy Partnership. So can you break those down for us?
Yeah. The Millionaire Commitment Path, as described, is really for those who are ready to take action.
Okay.
It's a framework with concrete steps. And the first key component is clarity.
Okay.
You know, clearly defining your networking goals and identifying those specific types of connections that will help you achieve them. So, for example, instead of just saying, I want to connect with more business owners, you might define your ideal connection as a founder of a SaaS company with over 50 employees in the marketing technology space.
So it's about being laser focused.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
And really intentional.
Right.
About who you're seeking to connect with.
And the purpose behind those connections.
Yeah.
The next step involves targeted outreach and consistent follow-up.
Yeah.
So developing a system for reaching out to those individuals and nurturing those relationships over time.
Right.
Collaboration is central, of course, to this approach. Structuring partnerships in a way that contributes directly to business growth. Yeah. And then finally, monetization. Understanding how to leverage those strong network connections to create income-generating opportunities.
So this could be through things like referrals, joint ventures, or strategic alliances.
Exactly.
So that sounds like a very proactive and results-oriented approach.
Yeah.
You know, focused on tangible outcomes.
Yeah.
What about the legacy partnership? What does that look like?
The legacy partnership is much more about playing the long game.
Okay.
This is for those who are focused on building a lasting impact and potentially creating generational wealth.
Wow.
High-trust partnerships are at the core of this approach. So cultivating these deep, enduring relationships built on mutual respect and shared values and a long-term vision.
Okay.
You know, this might involve forming a deep mentorship that evolves into a significant business partnership over many years.
So it's less about those immediate transactional gains and more about building something significant and enduring over time.
Building a strong personal brand is also essential on this path. You know, attracting opportunities and wealth more organically through your reputation and influence. It also involves intentionally designing a network that can benefit future generations.
Wow.
And even turning your role as a mentor and a community builder into a form of lasting wealth and impact.
Both sound like really powerful strategies, just with different timelines and primary objectives in mind.
Right.
I guess the question then becomes, which of these paths resonates with you the most at this point in your journey, and which one aligns best with your long-term aspirations?
Yeah.
Are you in a phase right now where you're looking for rapid